The first request in the Lord's Prayer is, "Hallowed be your name." This is one of the most important prayer requests in the whole universe. Unfortunately, the power of this prayer request is often lost because people have a hard time understanding what it means. Let's begin with the word hallowed. Hallowed is translating the Greek word hagiazo, and hagiazo comes from the same root as the Greek word hagios. Hagios is the Greek word for holy. So, to understand the meaning of hallowed be your name, let's start by thinking about what it means to be holy. It definitely does not mean to have an holier than thou attitude. To be holy basically means to be separate from all evil and sin. You can understand the ideal of being holy a little more clearly by looking at a verse in the Bible which uses the word holy. For he shows us in him before the creation of the world to be holy and blameless in his sight. To be holy means basically the same thing as to be blameless. The Greek word translated blameless is amomos. Amomos is a defect, blemish, or imperfection. Although the word is used for physical imperfections, in Ephesians 1:4 it primarily has a moral connotation. If momos is a defect, then adding the prefix "a" yields the meaning without defect. God has chosen us in Christ to be without defect in his sight. To be holy is to be completely without any kind of moral blemish. That's a good definition for hagios, but here's where it gets a little bit complicated. The Greek word translated hallowed is not hagios, but a closely related word, namely hagiazo. In English, sometimes we can turn an adjective into a verb. For example, the word pure is an adjective, but we can turn it into a verb by adding "-fied" and getting purify. But we don't do that with every adjective. Holy is an adjective, but we don't have a verb holify. But just because we don't make holy into a verb in English doesn't mean they can't do it in Greek. In fact, they did. In other words, hagiazo means to holify. But since we don't have the word holify in English, we use another word which means the same thing, hallowed. So now we know what hallowed means, but we're not done yet. Does hallowed be your name mean that we are asking God to be holy? That doesn't make any sense because God already is holy. He always has been holy. He always will be holy, and he can't be any holier. This is why those magnificent angelic beings called seraphim are continually calling out, "Holy, holy, holy is the Lord Almighty. The whole earth is full of his glory." So, if God is already as holy as he can get, what does hallowed be your name mean? In this verse, your name means something like your reputation, or what people think about you. We say something like this in English when we say, "He has a good name." We don't mean we like the way his name sounds. We mean that people view him as a good, trustworthy person. Now I think we can understand what hallowed be your name means. It means something like this: God, please help people to know that you are entirely good and don't have any blemishes or defects. Okay, but why is this so important that Jesus puts it as the first request in the Lord's Prayer?
Created using Powtoon.